just with the year I've had, I've simplified my life out of necessity, out of choice. And this message, while this year has been the toughest year of my entire life, I have known no harder time than this year. That is already within me, circa 2010, gives me the strength to know that, like, even in these moments of transformation, even in these moments of uncertainty, who we really are is who we've always been. In every touch, we find the story of creation. In each gesture, the whisper of something yet to unfold. We stand between the seconds, where creation flows like grains of sand. Here, we weave meaning from fragments, form from the formless. With each shift, we hold the potential of new beginnings. Through the lens of transformation, we are both creators and creations, refracting light in endless ways. We carry the wisdom of those before us, releasing what no longer serves us and creating paths toward a new. Empathy bridges the gaps we cannot see, connecting us heart to heart, soul to soul. When everything became clear to do this series, it was like, I have always been a person to just appreciate the observation of greatness. And fortunately, as human beings, we get to witness it every day. Like, there's so many wonderful, beautiful, brilliant things that just exist, and just observing, whether it's nature, people. I love to watch my kids all the time. Like, they're just so fascinating. It's just the beautiful things that are everywhere. And there's a moment where, when you're just observing, you learn. It goes from looking at something intriguing or fascinating to the act of, like, digesting. And then when you're aware of that digestion, it just feels like, I guess privilege is the lack of better phrasing, or the word that comes to mind, like a privilege to just be in this moment, to be in this place. So this past year has been insane. Like, every now and then I pinch myself to be like, please let this be a dream. And you can take that however you like, right? And it wasn't until I finally decided that my voice has a purpose. I have a purpose to potentially connect, to leverage my life experience at this point in a way that isn't just a tribute to me being here, right? 37 years old, all that I've accomplished, all that I have yet to accomplish, all that I have failed at, all that I have succeeded at. The learning through observation, I really appreciate. And so, getting ready for this shoot, I'm packing my things up. I finished the last script, and I feel it, like tears are coming down my face. Like, this is the most emotional and vulnerable work that I've done to this date. And then putting it on a platter for those to digest in a way that hopefully my intention is for it to resonate. It was nerve-wracking. Like even before we record, it's, getting the jitters out. It's a thing. But I was putting together this incredible intro I had in mind. And I was workshopping it. Flat out didn't work. Didn't hit how I wanted it to hit. Didn't really amount to the thing or the way that I wanted to express myself. And as I was packing my bags together, I was like, okay, well, I'll just do, I'll have Grant work his magic. He'll do something on the screen, and it'll be good. And then as I grabbed my notebook, I found this book. And it just takes me to a place that I couldn't have ever imagined that this book from 2010 would reappear, pristine condition, made its way from my cross-country travel from DC to the Bay, flawless. No bend in the cover, no crinkle in the page. Like, you can even flap the book. You know, I use a new book, it smells like whatever store it was in. This book must have been bought at Borders. I had that Borders smell. No, but seriously, it was like I couldn't believe how, like, great it was in condition. And so I opened the book, and it's almost like the memory was so vivid. Like, I remember receiving this book as a gift. And at the time, I believe I had just finished grad school. I was just offered a job at a place that I worked through all through undergrad. In undergrad, it was a community center. The community center, it was called the Art House, the Art and Media House. Like, I love this place so much I could get a tattoo right now of it. Like, that's like, that's how impactful this place was in my journey. And I had the best introduction of working with people that cared. From my director at the time, huge shout out to Marie, to my coworkers at the time, huge shout out to Claudia. It was just the beginning of what I later discovered as my method and what I needed to provide as far as working environments, or the balance of working at a place that really cared about the human. And so I know I'm chatting, but it's so I graduate grad school, and at the time at this center I was just a media teacher, digital arts. It's all for all the neighborhood kids, elementary, middle school, high school. And so the current media person was headed to grad school herself. And she had been there all the years that I had worked summers and breaks and after school while I was in school myself. And she told me she was inspired by my journey. And that's what caused her to decide at the age she was to go back to school to get the benefit of the things that she saw that I benefited from. And so I remember when she put in her notice, I got my offer. And it was the first time I understood the reciprocal nature that things could be, or probably not saying that right. The nature that you feed one thing and it feeds something else, right. The ripple effect, the whatever we want to call it. And on her way out, she was like such the coolest person. She was like at least 6 foot, biked everywhere, had the like massive like biking legs. Like, I just remember we used to joke all the time. And then in all of that kind of fun, quirky presentation, she just had such the biggest heart. And so I want to share that when she gave me this book, if I didn't say it, she gave me the book that I'm talking about. She gave me this book, and with this book, it's When Things Fall Apart. Still to this day, I have not read that book. In fact, today, on the way over, I decided to download the audiobook and start reading it or listening to it. And I'm just so appreciative in this moment of how everything at that time was a stamp for where life was. But at that same moment, there was a connection point to that's always been. And so she wrote something very special to me. And at the moment of not finding the proper opener for this body of work, I realized in reading that message, that was the opener. So I want to read it and check this out. The date. This was written. Let me not mess it up. July 15th, which is my grandmother's birthday, and transition day 2010. Mind blown, right? All right, let me just pull it up. It was so good I had to take a picture. I was just like, nah, this is not it. Oh, here it is. Okay. It says, and again, the date, July 15th, 2010. Solomon, I've given people this book before when they were struggling and seemed like they needed some advice. It has certainly pulled me out of some rough times, but I'm giving it to you with something else in mind. It's one of my favorite spiritual texts that defines the person I want to be. But you already are emblematic of what this book teaches. So let this book not be a recommendation of who you should be, but an affirmation of who you already are. You coming to the art house has only made it harder for me to leave. It's bittersweet. I have to go, and it's good to know that the kiddos are in the wise hands. You're so freaking dope, yo. And just with the year I've had, I've simplified my life out of necessity, out of choice. And this message, while this year has been the toughest year of my entire life, I have known no harder time than this year. That is already within me, circa 2010, gives me the strength to know that, like, even in these moments of transformation, even in these moments of uncertainty, who we really are is who we've always been. And if you can somehow from somewhere find just a moment to kind of connect into that, I find that, like, the world of transformation is so unique. It's so undefinable. It truly is something that everyone deserves, especially if who you are in present time isn't who you know you are to be, or who you are in general. And so, yeah, I just wanted to, share that. I thought that was just like in the world of serendipity, in the world of synchronizations, in the world of it's already there. Like, it's yeah. So no, I just wanted to share that. Yeah.
Well, thanks for sharing.
Yeah.
If you or someone you know is seeking support and guidance on their journey of transformation, visit SolSeeking.com to explore my transformation and motivation support services.